Hello, Aquarius. This is your reading for 2018. And this will be a 21 card spread. And in the style of a Grand Romany reading. So this will go into a lot of details. With some dates, predictions. Okay. Okay, the first card for you is a Five of Wands. I have a Queen of Swords. I have a Queen of Cups. I have a Two of Cups. Three of Cups. King of Cups. Karma. Very interesting. Lots of cups here. 4 cups in a row. I have the Hermit. I have the Star. This is the Fool. I have the Lovers. The Magician. Oh my goodness. I have a King of Swords. And then a Knight of Swords. Oh wow, your swords are really coming out here, Aquarius, along with these cups. Interesting showdown between cups and swords here. It's interesting how this is playing out. I have a Page of Cups. I have a Ten of Cups. I have a Three of Wands reverse. I have an Ace of Swords. I have a Four of Swords reversed. And a Ten of Pentacles. And then a Nine of Wands. Very, very interesting. I mean, it's crazy. Just keeping in mind here, when you get this, I think this Queen of Swords, it's associated with Gemini. The Knight of Swords is with Libra. The King of Swords is associated with Aquarius. And then you have these major arcana cards that just come out of nowhere in your middle row here. But I also can't get over the swords versus cups. You have very little wands here. You have a Five of Wands here. Then a Three of Wands reversed here. And then a Nine of Wands. And then you have this one singular pentacle. But other than that, it's like cups and swords, water and air. And water and air share some qualities. They're both idealistic cards, head in the clouds, inspiration, you know, and the energies between people who are air signs and cups, air signs and water, they can have a very intense relationship because they both think a lot. They both they both have that inner energy where they're inspired. There's a little bit of psychic energy. You know, they are very thoughtful. people with air and water energy, they're very idealistic. They can be swept away in a romance or a relationship. Okay. And at the same time, both elements can be very vulnerable as well. You know, they can get hurt easily, very sensitive. So this duality between air and water, it's almost as if Aquarius, you're just going to, a lot of you will have ongoing hot and heavy relationships, especially here in this first row, possibilities for love. It's amazing, you know, to have. And then you've got these strong major arcana cards. So dominance of major arcana with swords and cups, air and water. I almost feel as if they're a big relationship shifts and changes, and some of you will get swept away with love. You want to know why? Because that Lover's card is smack dab in the middle. It's in the middle row, and it's in the fourth column, which is in the middle of these 7 columns. So some of you should be prepared to get swept off your feet. Excuse me. But the way I will read this, there's no past, present, and future. This is all 2018. I will begin at here with the 5 of Wands at the start of the year, and then I'll be ending here. The last card will be 9 of Wands. And I'll start the reading row by row. And then each one of these vertical columns here have significance as well, addressing specific questions, some outcomes, possibilities, the unexpected, your home life, your friends, your family, you. Okay, so yes, very interesting here for you, Aquarius. Love, love, love is definitely going to be a theme for you in 2018. And wow, like 5 major arcana cards in the middle of the year. That is crazy. So yes, let's look at your major arcana cards here, because your year begins sort of here in this first row. Not a lot of major arcana cards. You have karma here. And it's interesting that karma follows all these cups, this love, falling in love, a relationship that blooms and grows in the spring. I think spring is going to be a really good time for you Aquarians as far as relationships. But we have karma here, which is usually the card of destiny and our decisions coming to a head here, decisions that we've made in the past that come to the forefront. So after this karma card, it feels like this karma card all of a sudden starts kicking off all these big shifts and changes. And I kind of feel like some of you fall very hard in love, that this 5 of Wands ushers in this chaos and conflict. Got a Queen of Swords here, this air facing off or meeting this Queen of Cups, and then the Queen of Cups just dominates because she's the woman in love. She's intuitive, she's full of joy and happiness. And so some of you, even though this might represent, even though this Queen of Swords is the significator for Libra, definitely this Queen of Cups is coming along to usher in all these feelings and emotions here. So all of a sudden this karma card comes up, decisions that some of you might be dealing with a little relationship drama as far as, you know, those love triangles. Someone that the relationship kicks off in the beginning of the year. And then suddenly pulling back, changing your mind. That's the strongest impression I get with karma. That after all of this outpouring of emotion and being swept off your feet romantically, karma comes along for some reason and someone changes their mind. Um, a big hiccup or event that kind of changes or becomes an obstacle in the relationship. And Aquarians, you really don't take hiccups or big changes very well. Like most air signs, you can be very defensive, very hypersensitive. Sometimes you overthink. But if you're in a relationship, things can get intense because um, people can lose your trust very easily. If there are, if people mess up or people change their mind, or if you feel like people are letting you down, you don't take that very easily. So it's interesting that after karma, then we have these big major arcana cards um, dealing with the hiccups and the speed bumps in the relationship issue. You thought things were going so well, and then all of a sudden this person starts acting funny. We've got the hermit, you're pulling back. I feel some of you might be in a conflict with someone to where you're like, okay, I'm going to do what Aquarians usually do. I'm going to pull back. I'm going to be alone. I don't want to deal with anyone right now. And sometimes air signs, especially Aquarians, you prefer being alone. You prefer going somewhere and thinking and sorting things out. But it feels like with this karma card, after all of this outpouring of emotion, when this karma card comes along, it feels as if someone is saying, I'm not ready just yet. I love being with you. There's so much potential in this relationship. But then the karma card brings distance. Something comes between you and this other person. And then we get the hermit, you being alone, brooding or sulking or thinking things over. But at the same time, we have these two cards. The star is next to the fool. The fool is about letting go, taking a break. And the star is about being positive and having hope. And I feel like some of you are giving this situation the benefit of the doubt, even though there might, for some of you, might be a temporary breakup. Some of you might be dealing with two different directions in a relationship, and you're just on standby. So when we get here to the lovers and then we get here to the magician, all of a sudden, the lovers, we have a union here. And keep in mind, this lovers is right next to the Two of Cups. In some tarot readings, having the Two of Cups with the lovers indicates a possible soulmate connection, a very intense spiritual, emotional connection for life, very serious. And then this breaking away, and then the lovers, this uniting here, and then the magician, this big rush of influence in making things happen. And sometimes the magician is about using your inner powers or qualities or strength to address conflicts, to use your influence, to move obstacles out the way. Okay, remember, you've got this. It's called a lemniscate symbol here, the infinity symbol, and that shows up in the Two of Pentacles. It also shows up in the Strength card. This is you pulling together your confidence, going after what you want in this relationship. Perhaps this person is pulling back, starting with the Karma card, and this is why you're getting these big changes in the relationship. Such a strong connection. you're falling in love hard, and then all of a sudden this little disappointment here. And then it feels like you're dealing with that with these 5 major arcana cards. Also, once again, coming back to the swords here, this King of Swords represents Aquarius. It's the significator for Aquarius. And so you've got some swords energy working for you, making decisions and judgments about this situation. I'm not saying there's no career or money or finance going on here, but with the prevalence of all these cups showing up in the beginning of the year, there are definitely new emotional opportunities for romance opening up. Some of you might actually start new relationships as well. So, yeah, especially since you have a Queen of Cups and a King of Cups. Some of you might actually be attached to a water sign that is, you know, your relationship with that water sign is going to be a dominant theme in 2018 for you. And so after that, after this blockbuster of major arcana, we get here to the last row, and there are none. It feels as if the big changes and shifts, resolving differences, making up, breaking up, you're getting past all of that, and then things just sort of come to an even kill here. But I do sense that some of you Aquarians are dealing with someone who might be emotionally wishy-washy. Someone who, for some of you Aquarians, you know, it feels like this person gets your trust, and then once they get your trust, all of a sudden they, because then this water energy disappears here in the second row, all of a sudden they just get a little scared, a little needy, and you might even find yourselves backing off from this person and needing space until you feel like you can trust them. Okay, so the interesting thing here with these wands, you have that 5 of Wands, which is about petty conflicts and arguments here, and then you have a 3 of Wands, which is reversed. This is about waiting and seeing, but this is a card usually about partial success, having expectations for success, and you're waiting for this relationship to start moving forward. Okay, it's sort of like active waiting, just standing back and waiting to see what happens. You've already committed, you are devoted, but there's still this energy of what will happen. So when this is in reverse, I'm kind of feeling like there's still some residual conflict. And the funny thing is that it follows another wave of water here with a Page of Cups and then this 10 of Cups. Once again, this relationship that is hard to let go, this connection, this emotional connection with this person, neither one of you seem to can let go, and you keep being pulled back to each other. Okay, that's one general interpretation that I'm seeing here. So with the Pentacles, this one Pentacle you have, it comes right before that 9 of Wands, and this is simply a card of being cautious, making sure that the train stays on the track here. You're preparing for, because of the lessons that you've learned through the previous year, this is the last card in 2018. This card seems to be you getting control over your situation, your relationships, your career. You've learned so much. You've been through a lot of shakeups in the middle of the year. So this 9 of Wands is sort of like, okay, I have a handle on this now. And I'm not going to get blindsided again. Okay, you're prepared. You're being cautious. So those Wands and Pentacles are very interesting here. So you have your Queen of Wands, your King of Wands, you have your Queen of Swords, your King of Swords, your Knight of Swords. And then here you have an Ace of Swords, you have clarity. And then this Four of Swords comes along as well. The Four of Swords is usually taking a retreat. But I get the feeling that some of you, once again, are protecting yourselves. You're pulling back. You're taking extra time to think things over, because I get the feeling that when this is in reverse, I feel like some of you might want to, like, okay, I'm pulling back. Okay, I'm pulling back until I know that I'm not going to get screwed over again. Okay, and so that's the story that's playing out here. Um, Getting caught up in a relationship, giving a relationship a chance, a new relationship for some of you, and it rocks your world. So many things that are turned upside down for you, and you just want to get them right side up again. No more drama, no more issues here, because I do feel like this karma card is also bringing a little bit of drama heading into summer. That's going to explain why all of a sudden in the middle of the year you're dealing with this big shift in your life. Okay, so reading from beginning to end, taking in all of these elements and these major arcana cards, starting the year off with conflict. I feel like this is an inner conflict for you Aquarians. And keep in mind, fire is nurtured by air. You know, and I feel like some of you are going through more of an inner conflict versus a conflict with someone else or a conflict in a situation. You're coming out of 2017 a little fed up, and you're like, okay, I want to get it right this time. I want to get my relationships right. I also want to get my career right. I kind of feel like some of you are on a very slow but steady career path. It's a matter of navigating people and their secret agendas, and sort of doing a little bit of people management. But you come out of this with inner conflict. I feel like almost there's a little bit of overthinking here, because then this is followed by a Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is the woman of wisdom. She's learned from her mistakes. She's been through a lot, and she's wiser for it. She also doesn't tolerate any BS. Okay, she has these incredible talents for judgment and perceiving other people's motives. Okay, she's very smart, and you know, it takes a lot to get over on the Queen of Swords. And she's facing off with this Queen of Cups. So I definitely feel with the Queen of Cups, this could be a face-off with someone close to you. Especially when this King of Cups comes along, and there's dominance now because the Queen serves the King. The Queen is in the background, the King is in the forefront, and the King rules. The King makes decisions. And so I feel like some of you, once again, that relationship issue with someone, you two are in love, and then this person starts dominating the relationship. They start pulling back emotionally. The King of Cups doesn't necessarily reveal his emotions. He doesn't put his emotions out there. He acts more than he shows. Okay, he acts on his feelings, but he doesn't show his feelings. He doesn't reveal what he's feeling all the time. And so that's when we come here to this karma card, this problematic karma card. You know, like, wait a minute, what did you just say? What did you just decide? Okay. This person in your relationship, some of you, this person might actually get a little flaky and back out on a decision, or a decision that they thought they could hide from you. All of a sudden, this decision comes back to um, this decision that this person made comes back to hurt you. You know, maybe they're going back to a previous relationship. But once we get through the turmoil of this card, this karma card is now going to bring you being alone. Like, okay, I need to be alone to think this over. But there's still a little bit of optimism here. And once again, the Fool, keep in mind this is in the column of friends, family, and lovers. We have this issue of someone else pulling back. You know, like this person in response to your Hermit is saying, well, if that's the way you feel, I'm pulling back too. Maybe it's best, you know, we just play it by ear. But the interesting thing here is that you still have the influence of the Lover's card and the Magician. And keep in mind, the Fool has a wand and the Magician has a wand as well. And the wand always symbolizes inner power and manifestation and using magic. And so I sort of feel like you and this, and for those of you in relationship issues here, especially if you're in a long-term relationship, there's a battle of wills here. And I feel like this Fool is from the other person, and then this Magician is your influence as well. Okay, I feel like this person can't necessarily stay away from you. They might wander off, you might not hear from them, but they're going to miss you and want to come back. For some of you, this might be a case of absence makes the heart grow fonder. So yes, being alone, but still taking space. There's still a positive energy here going on, sort of like a magnetic quality that's drawing you two together. So this Fool and the Hermit, they're both alone. They're both taking separate journeys, but at the same time, with the Star and the Lovers here, there seems you two are just destined to come back together. And so the energy of this Magician for you, Aquarians, is you're pulling things back together, you're sorting things out with this person, important discussions. This can also be the same trajectory as a career as well. I feel like there's lots of people issues that you're dealing with here in the first row. So when we get here, your King of Swords is coming through here, followed by a Knight of Swords, making your boundaries clear, you know, saying what needs to be said, but you're also very perceptive, your judgment is on point, and you're able to see things for what they are. This King of Swords, I feel as we head into late summer, I feel that for some of you, this is about making big decisions about what you're going to do with this relationship moving forward. And then this Knight of Swords is taking action. He gets orders from the king. The knights go ahead, they go into battle, and they take action. Okay, so I think that's very important here, the way these swords are strategically coming after these big hiccups and changes before and after. Because this is you in the thick of the drama here, still contemplating, still making decisions, still communicating, you know, in your relationships and communicating at in your jobs, still asking for what you want. But I do feel a strong sense of Aquarians taking the reins of their life and getting control over their life and saying, okay, this is going to stop, this is going to stop now. Some of you, a little bit of negotiations as well. And keep in mind, the King of Swords is a master negotiator. I feel some of you could be going into important job interviews. And I think you need to capitalize on this big shift in your life, because I do feel like some of you are going to be coming to important crossroads in your life. And the decisions that you're making during this time of the year, heading from midsummer into late summer, I feel like these decisions are going to determine really um, the next year or so of your life. So, this King of Swords and Knight of Swords here, your powers of persuasion and judgment and intellect are coming through um, to deal with people, to handle people. I think that's the biggest issue for you, Aquarians. Um, Having to negotiate with people, having to manage your relationships, manage the people issues at your job, asking for what you want, not being reserved so much, really putting yourself out there. So as we head into this last row, then we have that Page of Cups and the Ten of Cups, this new outpouring of love and affection. But once again, when you have that Three of Wands reversed, the Three of Wands indicates that there's still things that need to be worked out here. Setting aside um, unrealistic expectations. Sometimes this can mean disagreements. But once again, the swords are coming to your rescue here. There's a disagreement. I feel like for some of you, get back together. Let's hash out this disagreement. Let's get it over and done with. And that's when the Ace of Swords comes along. The Ace of Swords brings clarity and truth. And then the Four of Swords is reversed. And this Four of Swords is about distance. Give me some time to think about it. Even though I feel like some of you, because of this disagreement here in the Three of Wands, I feel like some of you are going to pull that distancing act. And air signs are famous for that. When there are hurt feelings, or if they feel insulted, or if an air sign feels like their ego has been bruised a little bit, sometimes it's easier just to walk away suddenly and just stop discussing, to just totally shut down. But I don't think you're going to allow that to stop you here. We have a Ten of Pentacles. This Ten of Pentacles is stability in home life. And you have these two tens here. You have that Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. So emotional and material happiness. You've got your house and your home and your career and your finances together. You feel secure about where you are in your relationship. And I feel like some of you will be calling the shots about what it is that you want from other people. So that's when we come here to this Nine of Wands at the end of the year, that now that you have this Ten of Pentacles and you have this energy of the Page of Cups falling back in love, this Ten of Cups, which is, especially seeing that you have a Two of Cups and a Lover's card, a very serious relationship has been able to grow and develop possibilities of a long-term relationship for some of you. So when we get here to this Nine of Wands here at the very end of your year, this is once again the card of caution. You're like, okay, so much, you've learned from so much, especially with this major arcana. When you get here to this Nine of Wands, you're like, okay, I'm going to just take it. I'm going to be cautious. I'm not going to rush into anything. Okay. Your entire life has kind of been transformed. I do see and feel a transformation for a lot of you Aquarians. But I kind of feel like also with the emotional turmoil and the drama that you've been dealing with from your relationship issues, some of you are just going to be on guard. I feel that someone, either in a relationship or someone close to you, I feel like throughout this year, someone will have issues and problems that they need to work out. And they're kind of like putting you on notice, like, yes, I want to be with you. I want to be in this relationship, but I've got these other issues to work out. So please be patient with me. And I feel like some of you Aquarians are like, is this person really putting me on? Is this person really BSing me? Are they trying to con me? Okay. And so that's when you're thinking and you're judging, especially with that King of Swords is coming through. And that's how you're getting here to this Nine of Wands, that you're like, okay, I'm going to give this person the benefit of the doubt, but they just better not pull this stuff again. Okay. You know, I'm not going to go through all of this drama that I did during this summer. Now, when we look at your columns here, your individual columns, this first column right here represents your home. Okay, issues with your home. And your home life seems to be dealing with a little bit of, like I said, Five of Wands, petty arguments and conflicts. You're pulling back, but later on you're going to kind of, you can't be alone forever, Aquarius. This Hermit, you know, you're all about the Hermit, but you can't be alone forever. You can't just overthink things. Sooner or later you have to come out of your cave and connect, okay, with your family, and connect, and just emotionally put yourself out there. So when I look at the events pertaining to you, this is when I'm really getting a strong sense of making your relationships work, finding new relationships. And I kind of feel like for some of you, this Queen of Swords, it opens up this energy of looking into things, evaluating, okay? And so that's when we come here to the Star. You're setting your best intentions, you're optimistic, and then this Ten of Cups, once again, falling in love. You've got such strong cards for love and romance here. It's really unavoidable. And then the energy surrounding friends, family, partners, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends. What's going on with them? What's the give and take between you and these people? Well, remember this face-off with the Queen of Cups I saw. Someone might be falling in love with you. Someone might be coming to you with a relationship. But then, once again, that wishy-washiness. The Fool, they pull back. They flake out. They make a different decision. And then this Three of Wands, a little bit of conflict, problems that you have to work out with this person. Then right here in the middle, this is your yes or no card. And so this Two of Cups, yes, tons. If you had a question about, is romance coming into my life, or will I have the possibility of a new friendship, or will I meet someone new, this fourth row right here is definitely saying yes. Even a soulmate connection. And then here we have possible, the unexpected. Okay, the unexpected, Three of Cups, the card of friendship and affection and celebration. And then the Magician, confidence and influence. And then we're pulling back again. Usually this Four of Swords, it is the card of retreating. And when it is in reverse, once again, you might feel a little lonely. You might need to take some space. There might be a small breakup happening. Okay, when we get here to the sixth row, these are your expectations, things that are expected but might not happen. So we have these two kings here. And I think it's interesting. The kings and the queens of Swords and Cups seem to be having this little showdown here. The Queen of Swords is facing off with the Queen of Cups here, and then a King of Cups, and then a King of Swords. Emotions. You're making decisions about love. You are in this relationship with someone who's emotionally a little bit reserved, someone who's a little bit emotionally unavailable. And this Ten of Pentacles is, will we have a long-term relationship? Maybe, maybe not. So when we get here to this seventh column, your final column, this is what is definitely going to be a possibility, definitely going to happen. It's not a possibility. This is what the Oracle says is most likely to happen for you in 2018. So you have the Karma card, a big shift or decision that kind of changes your life in a way, all right, and rearranges things in your life. And then you have this Knight of Swords, recovering from the Karma card, recovering from the big shakeups. And then you'll find yourself with the Nine of Wands, like, okay, let's just sit tight here. It's almost, one analogy that's coming to me is that it's almost like you have a leak, you know, you have a leak in a roof, and there's this big flood, and your Knight of Swords comes to address this. Like, what's this? What's going on? Who's screwing up here? And so once you fix this issue, you have your Nine of Wands here, and you're being vigilant, you're on guard, and you're like, okay, now I see what's going on here, but you're not going to do this to me again. Okay, so you're going to be defending what belongs to you, your love, relationships. I feel like you're still going to be optimistic about some of the things that are happening, but at the same time, Aquarians, I feel like you're going to have so much great possibilities, especially for love, that you're going to be going through this. It's going to be like these ups and downs, and by the end of the year, you're going to figure it out. You're going to know where your boundaries are, and you're going to learn how to just protect yourself. You're going to learn from what happened. You're going to do what Aquarians do. You're going to think it through. You're going to strategize. You're going to move some pieces around on your chessboard of life. But you're going to be like, okay, people, let's not act a fool anymore. Okay. So that was your reading for 2018, Aquarius. And thank you guys so much for your support, all your wonderful comments. This is like the end of the third year I've been doing this. So I'm just so happy that I'm able to use my gifts to help everyone. And if you're watching this video, chances are you were willing to invest $1.50 to watch this video. Thank you so much for doing that. You know, these little donations and these, you know, this little bit of cash that comes my way sort of helps me when I'm not teaching. You know, it kind of helps me have more resources to keep doing these videos. The monthly videos will always be free, but also, you know, growing my little tarot business. Some of you have said, can you provide tarot lessons? And can you, do you have a place where people can come see you? And I'm working towards that. So your contributions and your donations and your support means a lot to me. So I want to wish you a happy new year. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. As always, I will wish you love, light, and all the best of 2018. And I will see you next year.